Alright guys, hey, my name is Brian, and I tell you what, now that we've got done with these stupid dogs and cats and stuff like that, in the coming weeks I'm going to show you some really sweet animals, and that's reptiles. That's right, I mainly work with snakes, and snakes are my thing, so I'm going to show you some cool stuff. If you want a really cool starter pet, this is actually an albino Burmese python. Her name is Sunshine, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure that you want to start with this type of animal, but you can see she's really an incredibly tame animal, and there's nothing like a huge python. Believe it or not, she's only 2 years old. She'll get about twice as big, so she's a monster animal, definitely for the advanced collector. But let's go on and show you some stuff that's really cool that is good for a starter pet. Okay, seriously, when it comes to cool pets, ball pythons are one of my favorite animals. There's really two animals when it comes to starter snakes that I really recommend. It's a ball python and a corn snake. And this is actually just a baby ball python right here. This guy's only about 2 weeks old. It's only fed 1 or 2 times. And you can see how placid and incredible animals they are. And this is an adult right here. This is as big as they get. They only get about 4 to 5 foot. They're really easy to care for. You don't need a whole lot of stuff. And it's one of the things that we specialize in. It's something we're going to show a lot of in future shows, and we do what we call making really cool paint jobs. And what that is just taking a ball python and making it a really cool color by breeding one thing to another. You can't wait to see some of the awesome animals we have. I want to show you some corn snakes that are just as polymorphic as ball pythons. When it comes to the other starter snake, it's definitely the corn snake, and I love ball pythons, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that, but corn snakes are definitely probably the #1 pet snake in the country. These guys actually only get about 4 or 5 foot long. They're really easy to care for. One of the things I love about snakes as a pet, instead of a dog, is that they don't have to eat every day. They can eat every 7 to 10 days, so they're really simple. If you're going on vacation, you just feed it and leave it alone, and it's all good. I tell you what, corn snake's name actually come from their belly pattern. They actually said they look like Indian corn or maize. These guys come from all over the southeast, all the way from Florida, even up as high as New Jersey. Super common, and what's really cool is there's a lot of captive bred animal, and I cannot stress to you guys enough that captive bred is the way to go. Just like buying a dog from a breeder is much better than from a pet shop, it's the same thing when it comes to snakes. If you can get them from a breeder or someone that's bred them for captive bred animals, it's incredible. And you know what? There's about 120 different color phases of corn snakes. We're going to definitely get as many of them in the show in the coming weeks as we can. And here it is, one of those color phases or cool paint jobs I was talking about. This is actually a baby albino corn snake. And chances are, when you buy your first snake, you're going to be buying a baby, certainly not an adult like the one we showed just before. And again, there's so many cool paint jobs like this one. And what's cool is these guys are actually pretty inexpensive. And most of the corn snake mutations, again, over 120 varieties, are really pretty inexpensive. Something like this in a pet shop is going to maybe cost you $40 or $50. Really easy to take care of. And I know you guys are going to ask, what do these things eat? It's not dog food, I can tell you that much. You can buy a meal from any pet shop. You actually feed it frozen pinky mice at this size. And when they're adults, they actually eat frozen mice, adult mice. Again, going to want to put that right next to your little frozen chicken and so on like that. It'll be perfect for your next family gathering. I can guarantee you that. Even though I'm mainly a snake guy, and you know I'm going to give the dog and cat people a lot of grief, the truth is I love all animals, and I even own dogs and cats, but again, I'm mainly a snake guy. Although all reptiles are really cool, I'm going to show you everything I keep, including this little guy here. This is actually Little Hen. It's an African spur-thighed tortoise. These are really incredible, incredible animals, super easy to care for. And believe it or not, he's only about 2.5 or 3 years old. This thing's going to live for about 100 years. It's going to get about 5 times the size. And in the future, there's no way I'm going to be picking this thing up to show you. I'm going to be running around with them. And if you ever keep this guy outside, you want to make sure to keep an eye on them. They may be slow, but they're really tenacious, and they will get away from you. As far as care for these guys, they're really easy to care for. All you need is a really good heat lamp. They really like a hot spot of about 95 to 100 degrees. And then you just need to feed them vegetation. The main diet for this guy is romaine lettuce. It will actually eat romaine lettuce almost every day of the year. But you can see he's a little feisty. I'm going to let him go ahead and run around. It's a super, super cool animal. And if you don't like snakes, you don't want a lizard, this is a cool reptile. It's a tortoise. Again, there's a lot of cool reptiles, and I tell you, lizards are actually super awesome animals. Not everyone's into snakes, although I tell you what, snakes are the coolest reptile out there, but these bearded dragons can make super cool pets. And as you can see, they're just super tame. You can stick them on your shoulder, run around. They're omnivores, so that means that they'll actually eat vegetables and crickets. Sometimes some mealworms, really easy to care for. They're from Australia. They'll live 15 or 20 years. They're super easy. A little bit of heat, a little bit of food, and you pretty much have an awesome pet to walk around and show your neighbors. Okay, with us here right in Southeast Michigan producing over 30,000 baby snakes a year, I think we're going to be able to show you some really cool stuff in the future. Make sure you guys email me questions. Email me anything, like do tails fall off of snakes? Do snakes fly like Paula just asked me? Anything you want to do, email it to me and we'll make sure to get it into the next show.